This is the CCD podcast. Yeah. It's the home of cultural compulsive disorder. Yeah, this is a song I didn't think I'd hear again. We're going to talk a little wrestling for you tonight. Yeah, Goldberg. Thanks for joining us on the CCD podcast. My name is Rob. Check us out on the interwebs at ccd.nyc. Facebook, Instagram. Got Mr. Steve Resk with me.
How you guys doing?
What's up, Steve?
Hanging in there.
Steve, the main man at SRG Universe, home of the Super Show.
Where heroes don't wear capes, they walk through curtains.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you do the marketing voiceovers for the commercials?
I don't.
Say it again. Say it with like what's the catchphrase?
Where heroes don't wear capes, they walk through curtains.
You said it the exact same way. That's awesome, dude. SRGuniverse.com. The Super Show, the game. What else you got? Duck the Clothesline.
Always representing Duck the Clothesline. Yeah.
Duck the Clothesline. House of Glory Wrestling.
House of Glory, my favorite place for wrestling in New York.
Steve Resk, involved with everything in wrestling. Mr. Wrestling. Also have Mr. Joey Armao.
Hi, Rob.
Joey Armao.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Joey.
One of our resident wrestling expert.
I don't know about expert.
Pop culture renaissance
I like
man.
to complain about it. I don't know if that makes
you
me an
do.
expert.
Well, that's a
Factual
common
complaining.
theme in a lot of your pop culture criticism.
Yeah, it is.
That's good. That's why we keep you around. But Joey, very talented artist, one of our resident artists in our art collective. I have some of his art on our wall.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It shoots through schools.
It does.
And talented artist. Hosts his paint night.
I do.
Chrissy
I host
Joey's
paint nights. I'm also an attorney.
That's right. I have your business card over there too.
Cool.
The Armao Law Firm.
Jack of all trades, master of absolutely nothing.
If you need a night out or a lawsuit, call Joe Armao.
That's right.
Yeah. So we want to talk some wrestling. 2016, just post Survivor Series, rounding out the end of the year. Talk a little WWE, talk a little TNA, and talk a little House of Glory and SRG. So let's talk a little bit about Goldberg up front.
I don't think we could say enough about how epic that entrance music is.
And so, like, he's back now. So what, we were just talking about this, like, is the new music he's using, is it the original WCW music?
I'm not sure. I think actually what you just played is the original WCW.
That's what
music.
That's what this says. But I can't, it's hard to tell. It sounds similar to it.
It's definitely similar, but it's similar in the same way Ric Flair's WWF theme was similar to what is that? Thus spoke Zarathustra, the song.
Very good.
I definitely
Very
butchered
good,
that,
Joey.
but I think that's what it's called.
It's the Ric Flair music.
Yes.
We don't have to say the other one anymore. Just like the Lone Ranger music is just Lone Ranger music. You don't have to say the William Tell Orchestra, whatever it is, overture. Lone Ranger music.
Sounds good.
Like 2001. 2001 is it's not the Nutcracker Suite or
Right. Fine.
Goldberg. Speaking of classical works, Goldberg back, 50 years old, upset win over Brock Lesnar. I got to say, go ahead. You got the first thought.
Can we talk about this?
So we can. We totally can.
Brock Lesnar. They not a full-time wrestler with the company. They bring him back. They give him Undertaker's streak, which, fine. It was a moment. It made him into a bigger monster than he already was.
I loved it.
And already, could
So on
have been
board.
without giving him the streak. I think Undertaker could have retired with the streak. I'd have been fine with that. Or they could have used it to make a new star, which is something they just don't do anymore. But now we have Brock Lesnar getting beaten by Goldberg in how many seconds was it?
A few, just a few.
An even part-timer beating a part-timer, and no one who's actually going to make them any long-term money gets the rub off of this. It makes no sense. It's stupid. And then at the end of it, the next day, Goldberg announces...
Goldberg.
When that music hits at the Royal Rumble, the place is going to go insane.
I don't dispute that, but he announces it wasn't just one more match. He's coming back for the Rumble, and he wants one more run.
Yeah, I got one more title run.
Yeah, one more title run. So my first thought was, well, which title? And my second thought immediately following that was, who fucking cares? Is Kevin Steen going to beat, if this match happens, is Kevin Owens going to beat Bill Goldberg? Absolutely not.
It's a big money match, man.
It's not. It would be if Kevin Owens was the star he should be, but it's not. Or is he going to fight AJ Styles, who last I heard, because I don't watch SmackDown, but last I heard is getting beaten.
He's just going to fight Brock Lesnar again
by enhancement talent.
That's all.
Yo,
that's all. It's
They're
gonna
SmackDown
they're
has
beating
been
a
awesome.
world champion with enhancement talent. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, man.
You go to Raw, and last Monday on Raw, Roman Reigns fought Kevin Owens for the right to fight Kevin Owens.
That's correct.
At the pay-per-view. He beat the champion. Roman Reigns should be the heavyweight champion right now because he beat the champion. You don't.
Yeah,
in what other sport do you?
I can say that SmackDown is definitely better
on.
than Raw.
Fine, but in what other sport do you play the champion or fight the champion, beat him to get a shot at the championship?
Was it a clean win?
It doesn't
I didn't see
fucking matter. The match,
But that's where the
happened.
storytelling
I don't
is. Like
know.
you got to make the argument.
That sort of
where-
happens in baseball, right? I don't
Yeah.
know.
That's not storytelling. that's the opposite of storytelling. You're not telling a story. You're not making me want to see Kevin Owens fight Roman Reigns again.
But on the other hand, when you have like Ellsworth versus AJ Styles, and Dean Ambrose saving the day, and then Ellsworth, arguably after cheating beat AJ Styles clean, you have the ultimate jobber who just went over against the world champion.
Yeah.
You want to see what they do next because eventually they have to squash that run of him. You can't put the belt on him, so there's got to be some sort of heartbreak, for it.
Do you remember when the world title meant something?
Yeah.
It doesn't now.
I don't know. When was that, man? It's the ship sailed. Like 1982?
No, it was way after 1982.
It's got to
I
mean
don't know.
something because if it didn't, you wouldn't care about
That's
the
true.
AJ versus Ellsworth.
It is what
I
it is
don't-
now, man.
You hit the nail on the head. I don't care about the AJ versus Ellsworth match. That's a fine storyline for the Intercontinental belt, mate.
Ellsworth.
I think it's fucking awesome. I don't know. Like Steve, you're a little bit younger than us, right? And
Yeah.
so when Goldberg had his last run for WrestleMania 20, which was 2004, you were probably pretty young then, 12 years ago.
When Goldberg came over to WWE, he wasn't what he was in WCW.
Sure.
But I remember it being cool. I distinctly remember Elimination Chamber when they slid the hammer into Triple H and Triple H hit him with the sledgehammer to win.
But you were a kid. I
Yeah.
remember that as a grown adult. And I bet people a little bit younger than us, Joey, have a crazy nostalgia for Goldberg. And it's just printing money right now.
Right.
Sure.
And then on top of
It's
that,
just...
you have the kids that are casual fans playing, WWE 2K.
Sure.
And they can show them exactly what they want to show them. Let's show them the streak from WCW, which they own right now. Let's build him up as a monster. You got to care about this guy.
It's been so long, too. It feels a little fresh. It was like when Hulk came back.
Right. You could kind of overlook
For
that
that with The
WWE
Rock.
aspect. You could show them
Right, right.
what aspects of the story you want to show them. And then you have this guy come in and beat Brock Lesnar.
I'm drinking
who's
the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. He's the ultimate monster. And you have little kids at home that are like, who the hell is this Goldberg guy? He comes out, everybody chants his name, and he just beat Brock Lesnar.
I was listening to JR's podcast. He talked all about it. He was just the roof blew off that place. You can't argue with the results. I totally, it's not, I was immediately, as soon as it happened, I was like, he beat The Undertaker. What does this mean for
Yeah.
Undertaker? But no.
I'm not arguing with the immediate
Yeah.
results. The Rumble's going to be huge. It popped big, sure. But what are they going to do 10 years from now?
I don't know,
What are
man.
they going to do 15 years?
I feel like we were asking that 10 years ago, though, too.
and it's the same. They're still bringing the same guys back. All they sell now is nostalgia. And, you're not creating the same moments.
Remember Goldberg?
Yes, exactly.
But I
then-
feel like every company does that for the main event. It's just a draw to people who
It's the
have
attraction match. I mean, that's what JR was like. He's like,
Yeah.
there's such a precedence for this. It's
at
it's
Hog,
really old school, sort of,
they're bringing in the Hardys and the Dudleys, right? It's going to be a TLC Fatal 4-Way match, and so many people are going to come just to see that. Is that going to be the best match on the card? Probably not.
Right.
Is that going to have great storytelling? No, not really. But it got you to go see the people that are going to be the future of wrestling. Right? It kind of plants the seed that way.
True.
I understand the business model. I understand the attraction. My point is, who are those attraction matches 10, 15 years from now when the current crop, the guys they keep going to, are too old to do it?
Well, 10, 15 years from now, people are gonna pay to see AJ Styles come back for one more match. I feel like that's the route where it's gonna go.
You're
some
right,
will,
though.
Yeah.
There's really only John Cena.
but they're not going to pay. the same way they paid it for an Undertaker or a Rock or Goldberg or even a Brock Lesnar, because AJ Styles is nowhere near the star any of those guys were.
But John Cena is.
Yeah, okay, so you have John Cena.
He's the only one.
Yeah, who's going to be the next John
He's
Cena?
really the only one.
Who's gonna step
Jericho's
up?
got to be real close, you know.
The renaissance, I can be
Triple
positive.
H.
The renaissance that guy is having is incredible. Jericho's
Oh,
better than
best thing
been
he's
in
ever been.
years.
But-
And he's the best thing on Raw.
He's so good.
By
Yeah.
far.
It's so good, man. It's so incredible. His timing is so impeccable.
Yep. He's amazing.
There was that bit where he had the two guys from that 70s show were on, Ashton Kutcher and that other guy. And Danny Masterson. That sounds right?
Yeah.
And
that's his name.
that's a person. And they were on promoting. They have like a new show on Netflix, and it was the two of them and Jericho and that fat guy, and Jericho blew them all out of the water. Like, those are professional actors, professional comedians. Like, he was like totally owned them. That's it.
Yep.
You're on the list.
You just made the list.
It's
The list
so
is huge.
over.
The list is more over than most of the guys on that roster.
At our job, we have a list on the wall, and like when somebody fucks up, we put them on the list. You just made the list.
He's awesome. I don't know, man. I'm totally on board. I want to see where this Goldberg thing goes. I want to see. I can't wait to see the showdown at the Rumble. I imagine they might be building to a WrestleMania match with the two of them. I'd have to assume.
And even that sort of doesn't make sense to me, because if you're going by wins losses, it's 2-0.
Sure.
Goldberg beat Brock twice.
Absolutely.
It's not a rubber match. It's not the deciding.
There's got to
match.
be a stipulation then. They're gonna do something
Loser leaves the WWE.
again.
It's so weird, man. But like, they did a great job of like erasing it, but they also owned it. Like, they kept mentioning that he had that loss. They're really owning that. Like, he's on a losing streak.
Well, it's good that they had Heyman in there to do that, because they were able
Amazing.
to own the loss without bringing up the fact
Did
that
you
that
see
match was
Heyman?
one of the worst matches of all
so
time.
terrible.
It was booed out of the building. It was one of the first matches I've ever seen where the crowd kind of went into business for itself.
In many ways, it was my favorite match on that card, because like,
Wow.
it was just the booing was so much fun.
Subsequent,
I was there. You were there,
subsequent
too.
circumstances being what they are, the main event used to be my favorite match on that card. I can take that as my second favorite. Sure.
Agreed.
By the way, The Rock came back as an attraction for that match.
That's
that was
true.
WrestleMania 20.
That's true. So did Stone Cold, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was so terrible. They really owned. Did you watch Raw? Did you see Heyman's when they interviewed him after? I think it was this past.
Dude was
Raw.
crying.
I mean, how could that not? That sold me on the whole thing. I'm like, that guy's a genius. It's just so great seeing him work.
Between him and Jericho, like if you were grading Raw on an average, segment to segment, their performance is so high it pulls the rest of the show up.
Yeah.
Whereas some of it's just unwatchable. And one of the things that's most unwatchable to me is
I honestly don't watch most of it. I fast forward quite a bit of it.
the opportunity they're squandering with Enzo, because they have a guy who, again, he's as over as the list.
He was naked last week.
Yes,
or
he
something.
was.
Yeah,
He was, and they keep doing
and I'm talking butt naked
Yep.
too, from what I
just
understand.
pixelation. They keep doing silly things with him, and then having him get beat repeatedly on TV. It's pretty much the same thing they did to Zack Ryder, only just a little less aggressive because they're spreading it out more. Whereas he got over and then 2 weeks in a row was just jobbing to Kane and having his girl stolen on TV by John Cena, and not getting any kind of revenge.
And he's so good.
And he's great. He's great. Doesn't have to be world champion. Doesn't have to be the main event guy. But he got over and was selling merchandise, and they intentionally killed it. And they're doing the same thing to Enzo. And then, you could say Enzo's guilty of not being Cass. So of the two, they have to push to one of them. I don't know why. They could push both of them. But they have a cruiserweight division that they don't seem to know what to do with.
Yeah.
And you have a cruiserweight
He
who
would
is
be a
the
great
most
addition.
charismatic guy on the roster.
You're absolutely right.
Seems like a no-brainer to me, but instead we'll just beat
I
him.
think he's gonna. I think
over
he's
and
still
over.
making a great impression, though. I mean, I feel like he's still pretty over. He can take the losses. But,
Maybe, but how long does that work? How
Yeah.
long?
I
How
think
long does that go
WWE
on?
looks at everything long term, where they're like, we're gonna keep you snubbed as long as we can, and if you keep the momentum, then you're gonna get called up.
I
They
can't-
want to see who's gonna fizzle out.
I can't get
because-
down with Big Cass, man. Like, I don't know. There's something weird about him.
There's something I think slightly off. I think he definitely does have the potential to be another main eventer.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they just need to change his character, because like there's something about the goofy like smoothness of him, like he should be a monster sort of thing. Like, especially it's also next to Enzo. I'm like, because that guy just oozes charisma. And anyone looks awkward sort of next to him. He's obviously a monster.
But I mean, he seems to be getting more comfortable on the mic. He's good. He's like a more athletic Kevin Nash. Actually.
He's a good worker. Yeah, you're right.
Size wise and just
like a Drew Galloway type thing.
Yeah, actually. Don't want to talk about another wasted, just total waste.
Killing it on the Indies though.
I heard.
He's another one who will have a big second chance. So
Drew Galloway.
Yeah.
He's where has he been on the Indies?
Oh, Ring of Honor, TNA. He showed up at House of Glory, which was so cool because he's one of my favorites ever.
That guy was supposed to be Drew McIntyre, right? Was his WWE name? That was like Triple
The Chosen
H's.
One is actually what they dubbed him.
And
he had the look.
Didn't they
had
put the belt
name,
on him right away?
Intercontinental title, yeah. Tag team champion, he had it.
Well, I mean, there's been a few guys like that. Triple H gets shit sometimes because he's always pushing his friends and stuff. But like, if it doesn't work, he doesn't keep pushing.
Right.
There's been as many guys that have been his golden people that haven't worked that have, sort of thing.
You know what? I think that when you get to know the industry, athletic ability will only get you so far. They want athletes, but they also want people who are going to push the company, in a positive way. So maybe you have a guy like Drew Galloway who has the gift. And maybe at that time he wasn't, what they were looking for in a WWE representative. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I'm sure that's true with like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where like, what went wrong with them? Maybe they weren't, like The Miz, who was constantly out there doing PR and interacting and, promoting the company in different aspects.
Yeah. So we got House of Glory Wrestling. You were just talking about it. The Hardys and the Dudleys are Team 3D. December 17th.
Yep. Amazon nightclub.
Pretty cool. So the Hardys are obviously, I guess, doing some indie work, but they're still in TNA.
They're actually HOG tag team champions right now.
Yeah. But they're still in TNA, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Is the Dudleys match a title match?
Fatal 4 TLC title match.
Very interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But
EYFBO, Private Party, Hardys, and Dudleys. Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy.
The Dudleys, Team 3D, they are out of WWE now. They finished their run. I wonder if that's it.
I don't believe it. I've heard some rumors that Devon Dudley is an agent for
what
WWE.
I heard too.
So
that'd be cool.
I think they've taken a step back and they're working the indie promotions.
They got to be getting,
Well,
I've seen too much old WWE talent showing up, and I just think that WWE finds a different role for them.
Bubba and Devon were just on the new ECW special. I mean, well, so was Taz. So I guess that's not really an indication of being with the company. But Taz was, Tommy Dreamer, the Dudleys, and Paul Heyman being interviewed by Corey
Booker. Corey
Graves?
Booker.
Corey Graves.
No, Corey Graves. Thank you.
Corey
Jesus.
Graves. Who's Corey Booker?
You made him up.
I think I went to school with them.
Wait, no, isn't he?
He was a jerk.
Anyway,
as a politician, maybe.
And Corey Graves just telling some ECW stories I'd never heard anyway. And,
I gotta check that out.
It was really good, really good. So at least they're on good terms with the company because they're still doing.
When they left, it seemed a little sudden. So I'd wondered if maybe they were like, "Fuck this place, we're done with it again." But it seems like they're on okay terms. I'd like to see them, still pop up every now and then.
Me too. Most decorated tag team of all time.
Still in pretty great shape. They got this is about it probably.
Their run recently was awesome.
Yeah. They did some good work with a couple of the new guys. Worked with the New Day,
I can't see how it hurts the new guys to work with them. You're gonna learn. Well, you should learn anyway.
But the Hardys, Broken Matt Hardy, still tearing it up. I still see everybody in the goddamn world talking about him all the time on the internet.
His promo is really good.
It's crazy stuff that he's doing, and like the way people are responding to it. Like, it's a different way of storytelling. It's a different way of production. It's so stupid.
Even like the final deletion, and those were things that everybody was talking about.
It's so stupid.
They filmed footage on a drone.
It's like it was so entertaining. Yeah, I'm like it's all self-contained. Production-wise, like they're doing really cool stuff. I couldn't believe I watched that whole stupid thing.
And you did. You went out.
I watched the whole thing.
Sat through it. Yeah.
I watched the whole goddamn thing.
And how many times you sat through a full episode of Raw?
I can't tell you. Not since I had a DVR.
Right. I still sit through Raw for some reason. I've never seen a minute of the Broken Matt Hardy saga. Not 1 second.
You got to check it out.
I'll tell you why. And I think we talked about this on a podcast prior, or maybe before one. Every time. TNA, whatever, like even during TNA's heyday. Oh, you got to check it out. It's great, and I do. and it's fucking terrible.
Maybe I'm building it up a little bit too much.
That's
now.
exactly my point. Like I feel like I hear people talk about how great it is, and it gets built up then in my head, and then I go watch it. I'm like, oh, this isn't that great at all.
It's completely different though. Like it's not even in the ring. It's like a produced video segment. It's just weird. And I like those guys. They've been around a long time.
No, I love that.
His dialogue, his accent is
great.
Funny. Like he doesn't.
I always thought he was the more gifted performer, especially like an actor wise. Like his version 1 character was so great,
and he
the whole
incorporates
the
that.
attitude was great. Yeah,
he just refers to his brother as a spot monkey. Like that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, like literally, he's like he was a spot monkey. He had a disease.
And like
he's
Jeff's
over
been
it
the
now.
same the whole time. He's never been a real character there. You know, it's just been Jeff. You know,
Yeah.
In the late '90s, I used to get into arguments with people because I insisted that Matt Hardy was
a little Freudian slip.
no,
there.
not at all. Matt Hardy was the Shawn Michaels of that tag team, and Jeff would end up being the Marty Jannetty, and people laughed at me because everybody loved the Swanton Bomb, but it didn't quite work out that way. And I think now, but that used to be a thing. Like one tag team,
It's the Marty Jannetty.
Brett becomes a star, and then Neidhart.
There's always the
doesn't,
one.
You know, yeah. Now both become Marty Jannetty because they don't know how to push anybody. But I don't want to keep beating.
Well,
that
Matt's
horse.
definitely the star right now.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I hear.
for
Everybody's talking
sure.
about Matt Hardy.
And he's had a few moments like that. I mean, the Mattitude for sure.
I loved Mattitude. I
So
loved
great.
Matt Hardy version 1. I love the Matt Facts.
WrestleMania
And then
19.
they
it's
took
great.
his
They brought
push
back
away.
Matt Fax with like Kurt Hawkins apparently.
Really?
Like I don't know what it's called, but like Kurt Hawkins Fax
Kurt Fax?
comes out. Yeah,
just
but
stab
it's
in the dark.
basically like the Chuck Norris memes, but with Kurt Hawkins replaced.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you remember, they took away Matt Hardy's push and gave it to A-Train.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Yep.
I don't remember that part though. All I remember is the
Right.
Mattitude part, and I remember the good stuff. You
It
remember
was good stuff.
That's kind of how I felt about Goldberg too. I'm like, you don't always remember what they do. You remember that moment.
Here's the thing, though, like even I was never a WCW guy really.
Me
Like
neither.
I liked it for the briefest minute of the NWO thing, and then even that got tired. I look back and I'm like nostalgic for that time, like
Sure.
because it's member berries. But then try to watch a Nitro on the on
No.
the network. They're terrible.
And again, I wasn't a WCW guy either. I'm not a Goldberg guy, but and again, I was a little older too. Like I know that I was joking. I was like, all my hillbilly relatives, who like WCW was always sort of the hillbilly show.
Yeah, well, it was the
that's what
Southern wrestling.
I mean, come on.
To a New Yorker, that's just you almost can't help that.
And Goldberg was the B level Stone Cold. I was definitely Team WWE, but like I appreciate what he did. And I don't know. I'm remembering.
I was
totally
so
remembering.
far as a WWE fan compared to WCW, but then I look back, like I did watch both. Like I can tell you most of the storyline, but to me, it was like WWE was the Marvel versus DC.
Yeah,
You couldn't
sure.
convince me that WCW was better.
Of course.
Me too.
Just blindly. I don't even know why.
That's
WWE
really it. Like,
better.
so looking back on Goldberg's rise and his push now, when I don't have like a dog in this imaginary
Sure.
race that the WWF had to win,
Absolutely.
it was pretty cool the way they built it
I've
up.
watched a lot of WCW on the network that I never watched, because it's interesting.
I do think they completely wasted his eventual win. I mean,
They wasted everything.
If you listen to the MSL and Sullivan podcast, Kevin Sullivan reveals a lot about what was going on, and that Georgia Dome Nitro was done because a lot of the Turner brass were in attendance because it was in Georgia. So they did it to pop an enormous rating and to I think at that point they'd been losing and they pulled the win back that night.
As indicative of
But-
they were like desperate anything to get that one pop.
Yeah, but how is that not the Starrcade match that year?
Oh, yeah.
with Hogan doing everything he can to avoid Goldberg leading up to it could have been even more epic than it was. But looking back, like I said, like I wasn't as impressed with it then as I am now.
It is amazing, yeah. And I mean, there's precedent, and then so there's precedent for his victory over Brock, over beating somebody like that, And I mean, if Goldberg had won, if they had a match and Goldberg won, nobody would have fucking cared, Or if Brock would have won, nobody would have
I think
cared.
the storytelling was pretty cool. It was like Goldberg been gone for how many years? Brock didn't take it seriously. He laughed at him for a second.
Totally works.
He gave it up for half a second, got speared, and that's all it took.
It's a fluke.
Right.
You have the angle that it's a fluke.
Don't take my negativity on it as like I don't think they executed it really well.
Sure.
I
Heyman
I hear you. I
pleading
totally hear you.
to get up was awesome too.
I just it was the most shocked that I've been watching wrestling since the Undertaker thing. Like, you know, for sure. And if anything else had happened during that match, I wouldn't have heard dick about it the next day. My social media was exploded. People who haven't talked about wrestling in 20 years were posting shit about that. Like, it worked. It was one of the better. I mean, you got like the reaction that it got. It's one of the best booked things ever that I've ever seen. You know, like it's crazy. And I'm sure they'll meet each other at the Rumble. Who knows? They'll have a moment.
Apparently, they're good friends too. So they probably like took that over.
Well, that's what I forget whose podcast I was listening to. Maybe it was JR, and talking about like they're very competitive with each other. So they're probably going to try to put on a good match. You know, probably WrestleMania, right? It's got to be.
I have no doubt in my mind.
Is he going to get a title again? It's a title run.
Capable of having a good match.
I heard that.
No doubt in my mind.
That Goldberg wanted to come back, like particularly because his son, and.
Could you imagine that little chubby kid he brought into the ring with them?
Yeah, can you imagine?
That was so weird.
Like, if anything, he should have done that, you know, after the cameras were off. Like, it should have just been in the arena thing. Like, that shouldn't have been on pay-per-view.
Not having his son in the ring, but why didn't he have a shirt on?
I don't know. It's very strange.
It's just very strange.
Like, let's get in there and pose together. And I'm like, oh, what's happening?
Can you imagine if they give him, like, the Randy Orton treatment? Like, your dad's going to wrestle tonight, and he's going to leave in an ambulance.
It was weird. The kid was crying, like, right after he won, and the audience, I was like, oh, maybe something bad is happening, or he knows something bad's going to happen. But
imagine being that kid being like, my dad's going to get killed tonight.
But, yeah, I mean, he talked about wanting to come back for his son. But, yeah, I wonder if they'll put the strap on him maybe for a little while. I don't know. That seems unlikely.
Like who?
Although they do have 2 belts, who cares?
I think they go the same route. Like Brock Lesnar screws him out of the Rumble.
That's probably what's going to happen
to set up for WrestleMania.
I don't think either one of them will win it. Yeah, I don't see that. This is an attraction match. They can, like, Brock's bigger than the belts. Like, he doesn't need the belts. Like, he is a belt. You know.
If one of them do win, the fucking like crybaby wrestling fans who don't get it are gonna. Joey is gonna go like have a fucking fit. This is stupid.
Well, yeah. I think not building new stars is stupid. Beyond that, I can separate that from, you know, this might tell a good story.
I mean, I could agree with you give the Rumble to somebody new. You can just completely elevate somebody.
Yep.
Like, for no reason. Like, say Bray Wyatt, as an example, wins the Rumble. Now he's in the main event scene.
Let me ask you guys this question. Is the bloom off the rose with him? Because he could have been a main event star. And I
think that he's working with Randy Orton right now in the same way that, like, Jericho is working directly with Kevin Owens. And that sort of insight, like, he's got one of the best of all time, you know, by his side for every segment.
That's
so
a pretty good
camera.
Comparison. For me with Randy Orton, I felt like he could have been that breakout mainstream star the same way John Cena kind of became. And I feel like just after WrestleMania 20, when they put the belt on him at SummerSlam and then took it off him like 4 months later, it kind of killed any Randy Orton momentum in my head that I ever had. So like everything he did subsequent to that, I know he's held the world title how many times? Again, we have 2 belts. It doesn't matter. But he's not the star he should be, potential-wise, and just for the way they've positioned him in the company. Like, he's arguably the number 2, or up until very recently, was the number 2 regular guy behind John Cena.
Right, but he was always in, like, the anti-hero, even villain role. So you can only get so much spotlight when you're catering to, like,
tell that to
Cena's
Roddy
the hero. Right, but Roddy Piper is, like, the Joker to DC, where he had a role of a bad guy, and he was just so good at what he was doing that people became to love him. And if you remember Piper, he did have those moments where he was the hero of the story, but they were always short-lived, and he went back to being, you know, the bad guy, which was what he was best at.
Even when he was painted half black.
Right.
He was the hero in that story.
Like, there are some villains that will never get there. Like, Rusev is a great villain. He's a great heel, but he isn't as good as, like, a Roddy Piper.
Oh, no.
You
different
could turn and make them the main guy, and it'll still work.
Definitely a different kind of heel. Rusev, I think, also should be bigger than he is right now because, again, they killed his momentum too many times. You know,
they sent him to John Cena probably too early.
Way too early. Yeah, way too early. Unless he was going to win. If he had come out on top of that feud, John Cena would be just as big a star as he is right now, and you'd have a bigger heel in Rusev.
Right, a more credible heel.
Yep.
Well, there's They got the Cruiserweight Classic thing going on, right? I mean, I feel like there's in Raw, they're giving some time to the newer talent, you know.
Okay.
And those are like indie wrestlers, which is amazing.
That part to me is amazing. Guys whose names I've heard basically from you,
right?
Ending up on Raw, like that's really cool. The Cruiserweight Classic over the summer was fantastic. The treatment of the Cruiserweights since the Cruiserweight Classic, I don't think so much. Hopefully, I didn't see 205 yet. If it's booked like the Cruiserweight Classic, it's going to be excellent. If it's booked the same way they're booking them on Raw, it's going to be forgettable. I think having Mauro Ranallo with Corey Graves definitely helps. The two of them together are a really phenomenal commentary team. The three-man teams kill me. I know I have so much to complain about, but listen,
I feel like it's getting better, man.
Yeah.
And Finn Balor got that push. I know he got hurt.
I remember him.
I feel like they know all the stuff you're saying. I feel like they're making an effort.
Like when you had Finn Balor and AJ, the biggest names in Japan, like that's when the eyes open, and then they come to the U.S. and they do a tour from Japan here, and they're selling out the indie shows, but for an indie show, selling out is not what it means on like the big level. They know they have something special, and then to see those people, work from the ground up and then win the belt, like there's hope for everybody. I feel like Tony Nese was at NYWC and House of Glory, and then the next night he was on Raw. It was like this guy was literally
that's so cool
in the fucking Elks Lodge last night signing autographs, and now today he's on Raw.
Yeah, that makes me happy. Like seeing these really talented kids get a chance, at the big stage, and that's awesome.
And they're set for a long time.
They are.
Like even if they don't win the belt, that he can get a good gig going to any local promotion, and 50, 60 more people will show up just because they're there. Like,
you get that little bit,
right? They're like bringing back wrestling shows where you're not going to see like 20 fans in the audience if Tony Nese shows up. Now you're going to see probably 200, which is still pretty cool for the local companies.
That's an aspect I didn't think of. What it does for the indie guys, when they're not there.
Right.
And I feel like
that's big.
WWE got to a point where they're like, we don't have to fucking compete with every single little indie wrestling thing. Like we can let it all work for us,
Yeah. And then if somebody gets big, we pull them up to Raw.
He gets a bump. The whole industry gets more visibility. And we're the big game in town. Nobody's coming anywhere near us. We can help everybody else get a little bit more.
So they treat NXT sort of like the way ECW used to come off. Like, oh, this big name star from here is now coming here to ply his trade, and it seemed like a big deal. Like,
sure.
This guy is huge in Japan. Now he's in ECW. Now he's in NXT. That's a big deal.
Totally cool.
And it almost makes it seem like more of a big deal than the main roster, just in the fact that there's other things going on and other competitors want to be there.
It makes me feel old.
Well,
like I watch it because there's so many of them which are so young. And I can't keep track of everyone. I'm like, show me the Goldberg match.
I hate that when it's like, this dude was born in 1993. What?
Yeah.
No.
It's so funny. I was reading a wrestling article on the internet, which is always a bad idea. And I scrolled down to the comment section. Terrible idea.
I don't read comment sections to anything anymore.
But there was the first comment was somebody complaining, like they were like, oh, you have to be on NXT. That's the only thing WWE cares about anymore. And it was just like talking about, I'm like they're spending so much time on this young talent. So I'm like, oh God, it's always something.
Well, here's the thing. I kind of understand the sentiment, but no, it's good because they're not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it's good. No one's micromanaging it. It's just allowed to be a wrestling show.
And I'm like, I started getting into it with this guy, which is, I guess
why would you?
I don't know, Joey. Sometimes and I'm like, there was probably 10 minutes of this fucking 3-hour show that was about it. Even the main guy on that is a guy who had his big run 15 years ago. Like the main Brian Kendrick is like a veteran,
and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I'm like these guys. Yeah, so I mean, between the Cruiserweight Classic and NXT, I was like, all right, so I'm gonna go back.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I will start to write because I lied. I'll read like the first 3 comments, the ones you can see. I'll start to write a reply, and then I stop and I go, what are you doing? And
I've been there.
And then I scroll past it, and we never think about it again.
Sometimes I even remove the comment, too. It's like, you're better than this.
Anyway, but
there's a certain point where you cross where catering to the casual fan, there's just so many more than the smart fan. You know, like you got to,
of course,
like you.
Smart fan's gonna keep watching too.
You've made it this far in the indies. You probably sit down with Vince, and he's like, "All right, well now you have to do product placement, and you have to do all these things which enable us to like keep things bigger and bigger." You know,
Yeah.
like sometimes I'm watching and like they do like a clear cut like KFC spoof, and it's like I'm watching a fucking commercial like the Truman Show is on right now. And it ruins wrestling, but when you realize like that money from that advertisement lets them have like the Titantron and the crazy entrance and the marching bands and shit.
It's just I truly firmly believe you can have a product that appeals to the hardcore fan and also attracts the casuals, because if you remember the 90s, that's exactly what they did.
I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to keep saying it, but you know, how do they not look at their TV ratings and go, we lost between us and WCW like 9 to 10 million weekly viewers?
Yeah, but they probably gained so many damn T-shirt sales. Like every time you look, there's a new T-shirt.
Maybe cater more to the niche.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, I get that they're profitable. You know, no question. Their stockholders don't appear to have many complaints. But when you look at what it is, and then you think about what it could be, you gotta wonder like why.
How long can we do it, Joey? We just gotta.
Yeah, I see. I'm not married. I have no kids. Like once that happens, I probably won't care as much about this stuff.
I'm like, if I'm gonna keep watching, I gotta try to like it. You know,
I don't want to have to try to like anything.
Well, what's going on with my main man, Undertaker? What's he up to?
I like the angle with SmackDown where they said if SmackDown loses, you're gonna have me to answer to. So it had a lot of people talking, who's going to mess this up for SmackDown and fight The Undertaker one more time.
So,
this Undertaker, I got this little...
Cool. I forgot we're filming.
We do.
I'm like, who are you showing?
Look on our video podcast. This is my Undertaker action figure with his bat wings.
Remember the Undertaker having wings.
This was the stupidest thing. Remember that one time he...
Wait, was that in the garden?
He got lowered from the rafters.
I think that was in the garden,
this is the stupidest thing I ever bought.
It's so stupid. So he came back, right? Had his...
Now, who... I don't remember who cost SmackDown the match. I remember Baron Corbin costing SmackDown the cruiserweights.
No, they won.
I don't know. I don't remember.
No, Brian Kendrick kept his title. Baron Corbin attacked him first.
Oh, I was talking about the Survivor Series.
Oh, so they won the Survivor Series.
So it was cool. They had
will Undertaker fight Baron Corbin at WrestleMania?
No, I don't know. Maybe that would be.
But I mean, he said he's back. Digging holes and taking souls.
How cool was that?
Like he's seems like he's back in somewhat of a regular basis. Remains to be seen.
Has he been seen since he said that?
He has not. Listen, you know what an Undertaker mark I am. I'm wearing my Undertaker shirt from probably before Steve was born. And,
no, I distinctly remember knowing Steve during that time period.
But back in a limited run, remains to be seen. I as soon as he came back, I'm like, he's gonna come back. He's gonna fight a couple things, and I think Cena at Mania. It's got to be Cena at Mania.
They got to do it once.
And I think this is it. I mean, I know I've been saying that. I think since I bought this fucking shirt 15 years ago, this is gonna be it. But like, this got.
Didn't he?
You
say
can do
last
so
year
much with the
this is
Rumble. Have like Cena or Undertaker throw one of the other ones out, and it's like, now they got to fight at Mania.
I mean, if you get Taker, Brock, Goldberg like in there together, pretty cool. Cena.
Can have
You know how over the Undertaker would be if he eliminated John Cena from the Royal Rumble when it looked like he could win like one more time.
I mean, I think the booking there is perfect. It's the Undertaker's 25th WrestleMania. Like this is like, and every time there's a milestone, like, well, this one is going to be the one.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would work. I don't know who else is going to fight. Sting match isn't happening. Those motherfuckers. God damn.
Thanks, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
That fucking asshole broke Sting's neck. Cocksucker.
I heard he was like,
I still love him.
You don't understand, guy. Like I dressed up for you on
Halloween.
Yeah. My bad.
He didn't mean it. But I mean, the Cena thing, they have this, they have that great clip of Cena's first match in WWE against Kurt Angle, which he lost, but he came out and everybody congratulated him in the back, and Taker was the champion and came back and he shook his hand. He was like, good job. And Cena's looking at his hands like, oh my God, the Undertaker shook my hand. It was his first match on SmackDown. I'm like,
I remember that.
I remember watching.
Great, like,
I mean, that's it,
video.
And like, dude, get ready to see it. a lot. But I mean, Undertaker, Cena's like, it's the only thing Cena hasn't done, and I mean, if there's anybody who's going to continue that Undertaker spot, it's Cena. He's the biggest talent. He's got probably another 10 years of being that attraction guy. It's the closest thing you're going to get to Undertaker. Undertaker puts him over,
I think so.
I can't imagine Taker not putting the guy over his last match. I don't know, man.
I mean, Cena might put Undertaker over.
Very possible. Yeah. Very possible. But it's given Cena that spot, basically being in that match. It will be well booked. I mean, the whole thing. Like, I conquered everything, I'm not that little kid anymore, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
I have a semi-sarcastic question. Is Triple H wrestling at WrestleMania also?
Probably. Okay. Probably. Maybe Seth Rollins. There was talk of that last year.
That'd be cool.
Triple H and Seth Rollins. I think we still got a...
Maybe Triple H screws Rollins somehow.
Yeah. I think we're going to get a Triple H Rock match at some point. Probably not this year. But they both got a couple years left.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
That'll be a big money match too. He'll wrestle. He comes out for WrestleMania.
The Rock buys TNA.
I like seeing Triple H, man. I'm old,
Triple H is my second favorite wrestler of all time. I love seeing Triple H, but you're ignoring my point.
I know. I hear you.
At some point, all these guys aren't going to wrestle anymore, and they have no one to replace them.
Then
I'll
be dead by then. I don't care.
Who wins the Rumble?
I think you're right. A young guy. I think it's going to be.
Is Finn Balor cleared yet?
I don't know.
That'd be an upset.
I say if Finn Balor's in the Rumble, he should win the Rumble. If he's cleared, he should be a surprise because I think they have enough big names in this thing that they don't really need to add his name to the mix. He should be a surprise entrant in the Rumble and win it if he's cleared. If not, Finn.
Who are the two champs right now? I can't even remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Owens, AJ Styles.
Kevin Owens and AJ. They'll probably stay in the main event picture, right?
Go back 2 years. These guys are wrestling in PWG, TNA.
Look, I so get it. I love the fact that they're the champions. I just wished it meant more than it does. It's not a knock on them.
I'm the blue champion. I'm the red champion.
Exactly. It's a disservice to them. Like these two guys should be champion with it meaning the most in the world. Like they're great wrestlers. I love their work. But
you want the prestige. I know.
Yes, exactly.
You love the prestige. That's the angle of the business you really dig. It's the storytelling. I hear you. I know.
It'd be cool if at Mania they made the champions like face off. Then you get one champion, and then you have another tournament to reestablish the other belt.
How many more times are they going to join this title and split this title?
I was thinking about that the other day. As much as I want them to go back to one title, it's just going to be another cheesy thing. Oh, good, it's one belt again. They should have never split these belts.
So stupid. I hate it.
Never.
And then the color coding. I didn't think they could do the color coding any harder than they did in the early 2000s during the brand split, but they're on it, the red and blue, holy shit. And then the rivalry between the two shows, if you watch whenever Daniel Bryan talks about Raw, it's always well, that subpar show, and it's
you were on it 6 weeks ago.
Fucking break. It's the exact same show. It's just red. There's no difference at all. It's so stupid.
Someone took a branding 101 class and they're just running it into the ground.
Then separating the brand with NXT, they actually have done pretty well.
Yes.
Which is surprising because they notoriously have always fucked that up.
Yeah, but it's NXT is yellow, Cruiserweights are purple, Raw is red, SmackDown's blue. It's clubbing you over the head with it, and it's not like they're doing anything else to separate them. So just having different colors for the same thing doesn't make it a different thing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Yeah, it's more the same even than it used to be. It's so stupid. And I'm the Survivor Series.
It's Malibu Stacy with a new hat,
but she's got a new hat.
It's a good point. It's a good point. What else? What else is going on the show? I don't. You're right. I struggle to even know who the champs are. They have so little value.
Who are the United States and Intercontinental?
No idea. Miz, maybe?
The Miz has got the IC title.
And Roman has the US, right?
Does he?
Yeah, I think.
See? I don't know about that one. Yeah.
Because who cares?
Miz is on SmackDown, which is probably why I know that, because
yes.
What's going on in the indie world? There, Steve.
It's crazy.
Who do you look out for?
Today's ROH Final Battle, which is their WrestleMania. A lot of indie guys are over there. Colt Cabana is working with Dalton Castle, who, like, if you haven't seen Dalton Castle, he's one of the best things going right now. He gets carried out by, like, the boys, and he has a huge, like, Ric Flair robe, but it's actually like a peacock fan that he fans out. It's crazy. Young Bucks, I think that they're the most popular tag team in the world by far right now.
Yeah.
They definitely have to be WWE bound. It just doesn't make any other sense.
I remember over the summer hearing on a podcast that their contracts were up mid-December, and I remember making a mental note. Just, pay attention. I bet you they show up in at least in NXT.
I can say 100% that their contracts do end in December. I know that. I don't know where they're going yet. So I know a lot of companies obviously like reaching out for them.
They coming down here to the basement?
Yeah, right. They're in New York right now. We just dropped off a whole bunch of stuff for them. We're trying to sway them into being a part of the Super Show, so we'll see how that goes.
Come on, they'd be dumb not to.
They would be.
All the world champion.
AJ Styles, right?
Styles is in there.
Colt Cabana
is in there as well, yeah.
Cabana. Awesome. Second best podcast. Second best wrestling podcast.
It is number 2 to CCD.
Come on, Jesus. I mean, we're like, what are the champions' names? Like, obviously, I'm hardcore paying attention.
I'm pretty much sitting here going, I hate this.
Yeah.
I just think the Indies is a better product, but the Indies is a better product now because of the work that WWE puts in. So like it's almost like you
there,
watch
obviously, of course.
WWE nowadays to like want to go to an indie show. I feel like that's what I kind of get at it.
Yeah.
If you semi-enjoy WWE, then go to a local show and pay $30 and sit 10 feet from the action. It's going to be the best.
I mean, people really
I agree with that.
Should do that more because it's so much cheaper too. It's like decidedly cheaper now. Like it costs so much to go to a WWE event. It's like $100 at least, probably, give or take, for a ticket.
Yeah.
And like forget about food and everything else and getting there. You can go to one of these shows and it's great. And they get up in your face and you could touch them and see them and
take photos with the guy that might be on Raw next week.
Yeah,
usually for kids,
or take photos with the guy that was on Raw last week.
Right.
That does happen. What was the guy who had the Adam Rose?
Yeah,
he's on the Indies now. We're just wrestling. Eric Jaden was just our good friend. Eric Jaden was just.
I went to meet him.
Didn't he have some kind of issues? Like, isn't that why they let him go?
I don't remember.
Some kind of domestic thing. Yeah, I could be totally.
That happened so much. It's like he beat his wife. I'm like, oh,
Jesus,
damn,
ouch.
I don't know if he beat his wife, but like those factors do play a role. Like I know everybody's like bring back Kurt Angle, and allegedly Kurt Angle has a lot of issues with certain things.
They would bring him back in a heartbeat if they weren't afraid.
They're like 5 months without a DWI. That's all we want, Kurt. Okay, make that happen, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, every time they talk about him coming back, I'm like, I think he did some bad stuff. Yeah, it's like it's tough. Like, is that and like it's you can't pretend that didn't happen anymore.
Like
because
surprise
of the internet.
entrance in the Rumble, and you get like Kurt Angle versus Lesnar versus Goldberg.
What about this guy right here, the Hulkster?
See, he's gone. He's blacklisted.
I don't think so.
For now, for the time being.
Trump's president now. It's all water under.
This
the
is my Hulk. This is my Hulk toy. This is the 3-foot NWO black and white Hollywood Hulk Hogan. My father bought this for me
last week
for my birthday this year. I was over the house. He's like, I got something for you because he knows I got you all the toys. I was like, all right, Dad.
Does it play Voodoo Child?
No, it doesn't do anything, and it's new too. But I like Hulk. But Hulk dropped.
They're making Hulk Hogan toys still.
Yeah, I mean, but Hulk dropped.
Are they? Because that's the type of stuff
new,
you got to ask questions with. Like,
but I mean, there's talk that he might be back for WrestleMania, like to announce or something. But he had that big video where he dropped the N-bomb a couple times.
That's the thing. So what they'll probably do is get him on a network, like dipping your toe in the water. Like, see, does anybody react to this? Let's throw him out there, and then
I mean, okay, they could probably have like a strong enough PR team where they're like, okay,
it's been a couple years.
You got caught saying things that you're not supposed to say. So take some time off. You're Hulk Hogan. You'll be all right.
It was also really shitty.
Back when
he won the lawsuit about that thing, like he was proven in the right.
Well, it was a separate thing.
Well, sort of, though. I mean, right? It was basically you weren't supposed to leak this. Nobody should have known about it. It was a private thing.
Well, so the conversations he had when his son was in jail, and those conversations are recorded. Now, I'm still not so sure about.
Is that when he said? That's when he was saying the N-word? I thought it was in the bedroom thing.
No, I don't think it was.
Well, they were supposed to be confidential, right? I think those police recordings too, right?
I probably
His
should
fucking
know this.
son is in jail and is miserable. I would say anything to make him.
Yeah, and I probably should know this, but I'm not sure. Like, you can get them for prosecution purposes. I know, but I don't know that they're actually just available to the public.
I mean, give the guy a break. Like, it was pretty private. Whatever. People say shitty stuff.
Yeah, I don't care. Everyone says.
I don't really
things,
care. Yeah. So I mean, he's goddamn Hulk Hogan.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Probably still got one more match left.
Oh boy.
Special guest referee.
Yeah.
Well, we know he can't drop the leg anymore.
He hasn't been able to drop the leg for like 10 years. Hey, Hulk. That's what I do when you guys aren't here.
Everybody's move is just a choke slam when you get
It's
to a
just
certain age.
Hulk's in one chair, Hulk's in the other chair.
Can you lift your arm straight up in the air? Okay, good.
It's going to be bad like when you can't sit down. Like, basically, that's all his move was. It's just kind of like...
Yeah, but it's a very forceful sit down.
He's a big guy. He's a big guy.
A lot of weight coming down the spine.
Hey, Steve, what do you got? What do you got coming up for SRG?
We're gonna wrap up the creator competitor competition. So we had 20 finalists that we narrowed down into 5 fatal 4-way matchups. We've actually had 2 winners declared. One from the XCW. It was submitted by Alex Mitchell. A young kid. His father is a big player. The second round was won by Legendary Realm Store, like pretty much our home base. A character they made called the Phantasm. And we have 1 round live right now, which has been our biggest turnout yet. One guy, Mr. Poppin' Twist, he's a balloon artist who made a character for himself, where him and Merlin von Berlin, who's a pretzel salesman in our comic book, they end up feuding because they're fighting over space to sell their products at the wrestling shows. So that turnout was amazing. We had so many shares, so many retweets. Thousands of votes came in from when we started, the first week, having like a total of 100 that, everybody really got behind all the characters. And it was the best thing that could happen for us. The exposure we got was great. And we just got so much positive feedback. It was like a really cool experience for our fans.
Cool. Where can I learn all about this?
srguniverse.com will link you to the polls. That'll take you to your Facebook, which will provide some links to our forums where you can read like backstories from fans.
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool because we got to hire a couple new artists, more work for them to do. So, it really did serve its purpose in the end.
And House of Glory?
House of Glory, December. Actually, tomorrow is the student showcase. Teddy Long is going to be there, so I'm sure there's going to be some crazy.
This is probably probably in the past. So
Then we got
It's not live.
It happened already.
It's probably already happens.
We got Ricochet
The
versus
results
Anthony
are
Gangone as the main event. Like, that's pretty impressive. And then it's going to be Rude Boy Riley with Ken Broadway. That's Saturday, December 3rd.
And then December 17th
is going to be, I think, the biggest show for House of Glory of all time. Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, TLC versus Private Party and EYFBO. We got Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be back on the card.
Cool.
Yeah, Ken Broadway, Anthony Gangone. I don't know what he's going to show up with.
What are they? HouseOfGloryWrestling.com? Is that
HouseOfGloryWrestling.com. That would be where to check that out.
Cool. Anything else?
So much stuff. I mean, I guess we're gearing up for the 3rd set of the Super Show. It's going to be called The Takeover. And basically it's going to be about other stores like the XCW and Team Canada Online that have fan bases all over the world, kind of being incorporated into our storylines with, the LFF characters that we created.
Cool. All right, well, check Steve out. All right, I guess that'll wrap it up. Anything else you guys want to... It's wrestling. Wrestling's all right.
We didn't get your pick. Who's going to win the Rumble?
I don't know, man.
I gave like a theoretical pick.
Yours was a great pick. Like, that would be cool. Make a lot of sense.
Finn would be great to see. Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think it'll be one of the relatively younger guys.
I think Bray has a cool shot, especially now he's got Orton behind him. Orton in... I don't know if you caught the finish for Survivor Series.
Because I was trying to figure out who is it then Bray, AJ? I mean, it's a pretty good main event.
Yeah, that would be
I'd
real
be
cool.
great with that.
Bray J, maybe they become
No.
The end of Survivor Series, Randy Orton took the spear from Roman Reigns, and then Bray Wyatt hit him with Sister Abigail. So, they were the final 2 members. So I think if they work an angle where, you have Bray Wyatt and Orton on his defense, almost giving up the victory to him, it could be pretty cool.
Oh, real quick, can you explain something to me? Because I was falling asleep towards that match. Why was the Shield reunited briefly during that match?
Just for member-bearing purposes.
But I mean, not why'd they do that? Like within match storyline wise, why did that happen?
Who did they do the move to? Who was it again?
Couldn't even tell you. I remember the spot, but I couldn't even tell you.
Who did they do it to?
I think AJ Styles, maybe.
No, it was like a bad guy.
Was it?
I don't know.
Well, it would have had to be AJ. I'm gonna guess because you have Rollins and Roman Reigns on the same show,
right?
And you have Dean Ambrose feuding with
That's
AJ
right.
Styles.
It
was it made sense.
AJ had gotten eliminated, or Ambrose I think had gotten eliminated at that point, and he was like, "Fuck this," and he just wanted to beat up AJ.
And now AJ gets eliminated. I'm imagining right after that.
I can't remember exactly, but it was basically Ambrose being like, "Whatever."
No, because I mean, it was
which fit character.
I bring it up actually because it was a cool spot. Like
it was.
I kind of woke up and that was happening. Was like,
cool. If you watch,
and now when you think about it, it makes sense. Two people and then the feud. That
was the real main event.
Except for the
it's like an hour-long match.
Yeah.
I don't see forgiving my former friend and tag team partner for hitting me in the head with cinder blocks like that.
Yeah. Oh, that.
These things happen.
I guess.
Don't let the past be. Just let the past be the past, Joey.
Yep.
You can't hold on to it. All right.
Don't have an attention span.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for us on the CCD podcast. Our little wrestling episode.
Yay.
Check us out, ccd.nyc on Instagram. Check out different things we've got going on. Check out our friends at BBQ Films. They have an event coming up called the Winter Talent Show, a celebration of Mean Girls, Wednesday, December 14th. You guys into Mean Girls?
I've never seen Mean Girls.
Do you know Mean Girls?
It's fetch.
Sort of glad.
Yes, you have.
We're not involved in this one because I couldn't draw Mean Girls.
You could draw Mean Girl. Check them out. It's an immersive screening, all kinds of crazy stuff. They're always great. Steve Resk, SRG Universe. Thanks so much for being here, pal.
Always fun, man.
SRGUniverse.com for all the cool things that they've got going on. Joey Armao, thank you.
Taxation is theft.
Follow Joey on social media for all sorts of interesting thoughts, and you can see more of his work on CCD. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Bye-bye.